Have you ever noticed how the deepest wounds don't come from shouting matches or explosive betrayals, but from the quiet, almost invisible slights? A cold glance that cuts deeper than words, a sarcastic comment masked as humor, or worse, utter silence that speaks volumes. What if the slow erosion of respect in your life is happening right now, and you haven't even realized it yet? Like hairline fractures in a ship's hull, these subtle cracks, if left unattended, can quietly sink the strongest of connections. But what if you could not only recognize these signs, but respond in a way that commands respect without ever raising your voice? That's what the Stoics mastered, not by demanding reverence from others, but by embodying it through their unshakable inner strength. Respect in the Stoic worldview isn't something to be extracted from others through control or dominance. It's something cultivated within. When you stay grounded in your values, when you refuse to be hijacked by ego or emotion, you don't need to ask for respect. It follows you naturally. But here's the real challenge. How do you spot the hidden signs of disrespect before they take root? How do you respond with clarity, not anger, strength, not aggression? And once it's gone, how do you rebuild respect in a relationship that feels fractured? In this video, we're going to unpack 9 timeless Stoic strategies that will sharpen your awareness, deepen your self-mastery, and ensure that you never let subtle disrespect erode your worth again. These are not quick fixes. They are life tools forged by ancient wisdom to help you stand firm even in the most turbulent emotional waters. So stay with me through each lesson. Absorb them not just with your mind but with your character. And if you're ready to begin this journey inward, start with a small but powerful step. Comment below, "I embrace strength." 1. Compassion. In Stoicism, compassion isn't simply about being kind, it's about being wise. It means seeing the pain in others not with pity, but with clear understanding. True compassion is not weakness, it's strength rooted in emotional discipline. Marcus Aurelius once advised, whenever you're about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize? This one reflection can shift your entire perspective. Instead of judging, you begin connecting. Instead of blaming, you begin understanding. To build true compassion, start by being honest with yourself. Accept your flaws, not as excuses, but as areas to grow. When you can forgive yourself for your imperfections, you become capable of extending that same grace to others. Then, practice deep listening, not to argue, not to correct, but to truly understand. Listening dissolves walls, and where walls fall, respect rises. Finally, act. A kind word, a moment of patience, a small, unprovoked act of generosity. These are not grand gestures, but they ripple outward. They shape a space where mutual respect can thrive naturally. And remember, forgiveness is the highest form of compassion. It's not a favor to someone else, it's a release for yourself. We just explored how compassion, far from being a soft virtue, is a powerful force that commands respect and mends broken bonds. Now let's look at what happens when you add another layer of discipline, the mastery of your words. 2. Right speech. Have you ever held on to resentment so tightly it felt like gripping a burning coal? The tighter you hold it, the more it scorches you, not the person who wronged you. Only when you release it do you free yourself from that pain? Letting go of anger or blame isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing peace over poison. In that space, compassion is no longer just an idea. It becomes a lived reality. And its impact? Far-reaching compassion, when truly embodied, doesn't make you fragile. It makes you unshakable. It strengthens your relationships, softens tension, and commands presence in even the most charged environments. Think of someone you know who radiates calm understanding. They rarely have to raise their voice or assert their authority. Yet, people respect them deeply. Why? Because compassion speaks louder than dominance. When you adopt this approach, not out of duty, but from conviction, you start to notice a shift. People mirror your energy. Conflicts dissolve before they erupt. Respect becomes natural, not negotiated. At its core, compassion isn't just a virtue, it's a transformative power. It reshapes your inner world and the world around you. And now, we turn to something just as potent, something we use every single day, often without thinking: our words. Words are not just sounds that leave our lips. They shape reality. They build or break reputations. They decide how others perceive us, and ultimately, how they treat us. The Stoics knew that speech reflects character. If you want to earn respect, you must first master your speech. Begin with the foundation, truth. Honesty builds trust, and trust is the gateway to respect. A person known for their integrity never needs to convince others. They're already believed. Imagine you're in a high-stakes meeting and you make a mistake. If you try to cover it up, people become wary. But if you acknowledge it with grace and responsibility, something unexpected happens. You earn admiration, because courage and accountability are rare, and people respect those who live them. But let's be clear, truth alone isn't enough. The way we deliver truth matters just as much. Kindness in speech is a quiet superpower. Words can heal, uplift, and build bridges, or they can destroy and divide. Instead of cutting remarks, offer insight. Instead of blame, offer guidance. The Stoic way is not to explode in anger, but to respond with calm clarity. Even in disagreement, holding your composure is a mark of wisdom. It's not about being passive, it's about being precise. And precision earns more respect than loud opinions ever will. Equally crucial is purpose. Every word should serve a function: solving a problem, sharing value, offering clarity. Idle chatter might pass time, but it rarely builds trust. Ask yourself, are my words creating meaning or just filling silence? Because here's the paradox: silence, too, is a form of speech. Sometimes saying nothing is more powerful than saying anything at all. Not every situation calls for your voice. Not every argument deserves a reply. A wise person understands many battles are best avoided, not because you're weak, but because you're in control. Mastering your speech, as we just saw, isn't about talking more. It's about knowing when and how to speak and when to hold back. And sometimes the strongest voice in the room is silence. 3. Mindful speech and the power of silence. Sometimes silence is not only golden, it's wise. In the face of provocation or pressure, silence can be your most dignified response. It protects your energy, diffuses potential conflict, and quietly asserts authority without ever raising your voice. But how do you know when to speak and when to stay silent? Before uttering a single word, ask yourself, will this add value or subtract peace? Will it bring clarity or create more confusion? Will it uplift or tear down? The Stoics remind us true respect isn't earned by speaking frequently, but by speaking wisely. Think back. Have you ever witnessed someone completely shift the tone of a heated moment with a single pause? Or with just a few calm, well-chosen words? Have you ever done it? There's immense power in measured responses. Silence, used deliberately, is not avoidance, it's control. It allows tension to dissolve and invites others to listen more intently. Mastering your speech is more than communication, it's about perception. When you speak with purpose and pause with intention, people pay attention. And with that attention comes respect. 4. Mindfulness. Now let's go one level deeper, beyond words, beyond reactions, into presence. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to command respect the moment they enter a room, while others fade into the background, no matter how hard they try? The difference isn't in what they say or how loudly they speak, it's in how present they are. In Stoic philosophy, mindfulness is not just a meditation practice, it's a way of living. A moment-by-moment discipline that builds both self-respect and inner strength. To live mindfully means to be fully aware of your surroundings and your emotions, but not enslaved by them. It means observing your thoughts rather than being swept away by them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, often sought solitude to reflect, breathe deeply, and center himself amid the chaos of empire. Picture yourself doing the same. You're sitting quietly, no distractions. You feel your breath move in and out. Thoughts arise, but you let them pass without judgment. With each breath, you reclaim control over your mind, over your presence, over your reactions. Now imagine a real-life situation. You're in a meeting. Suddenly, a colleague wrongly blames you for a mistake. You feel your heart race, your chest tighten, anger rising fast. But instead of reacting impulsively, you breathe. You ground yourself. And then you respond, not with rage, but with calm authority. I understand your concern. The issue was caused by the system, and I'll coordinate with the technical team to address it. In that one moment, you demonstrate two things that command instant respect: self-respect and emotional mastery. Mindfulness is not passivity, it's power. Quiet, unshakable power. It's what allows you to remain composed in chaos, to rise above insult, and to lead with dignity instead of ego. Master mindfulness, and you'll discover this truth. Respect is not something you demand. It's something you attract effortlessly. As we just explored, mindfulness helps you stay anchored in the present. But what about the emotional chains we carry from the past? Wounds that linger, regrets that echo, and resentment that silently corrodes our inner peace. 5. Forgiveness. Sometimes the pain doesn't scream, it lingers. It festers quietly, hiding behind a smile or a distracted mind, while deep inside, resentment burns like a slow fire, and without realizing it, we carry these old hurts like heavy chains, dragging them through every conversation, every relationship, every quiet moment alone. But the Stoics offer us a profound truth. Forgiveness is not something you give to others. It is something you give to yourself. It doesn't mean excusing the wrong. It doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means refusing to let that pain define you. When we forgive, we reclaim something deeply sacred, our peace. We choose not to let anger steer our emotions or shape our future. Epictetus said it best. People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. You cannot undo the past, but you can decide how you let it live within you. Yet, perhaps the most difficult kind of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Have you ever noticed how we tend to judge ourselves more harshly than we judge others? We replay mistakes like broken records, looping regret, shame, and guilt. But the Stoics saw mistakes not as failures, but as teachers, to acknowledge your flaws, to learn from them, and to move forward with clarity. That is the foundation of true self-respect. No one walks through life without stumbling. Every misstep is a chance to grow stronger and wiser. Think of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years imprisoned, yet emerged not with hatred, but with forgiveness. He didn't erase the past. He transformed it. He turned suffering into strength and became a global symbol of peace and dignity. Forgiveness, when embraced, has remarkable benefits. It reduces stress, clears mental fog, and deepens relationships. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the highest form of strength, the strength to rise above bitterness, the strength to choose healing over vengeance, the strength to walk forward, unburdened. Forgiveness is not just a feeling, it's a choice, a discipline, and a path to freedom. Have you ever felt that moment, the release of resentment, the lightness that comes after letting go? If you have, your story might just inspire someone else who's still searching for that peace. Share it. We just uncovered the Stoic path to freedom through forgiveness. But there's another kind of freedom, one that comes not from releasing the past, but from letting go of what you cling to in the present. That is the path of non-attachment. 6. Non-attachment life is unpredictable. It throws curveballs, shifts course without warning, and rarely unfolds exactly the way we want. If your peace depends solely on success, praise, or outcomes, you'll always be at the mercy of external forces. One setback and your self-worth crumbles. One insult and your day is ruined. But the Stoics urge us to flip the script. Don't anchor your fulfillment in outcomes. Anchor it in your effort, your discipline, and your resilience. When you do, even disrespect loses its sting. Why? Because your sense of self is rooted in something no one else can touch. Next, let go of attachment to material things. The more you define yourself by what you own, the more power you hand to the world around you. Your identity becomes fragile, easily shaken by loss, status, or envy. Seneca once advised, "Live simply so that wealth and luxury do not own you." When you find contentment in less, you become untouchable. No one can use financial loss or social status against you because your value isn't stored in possessions but in principles. And just as powerfully, free yourself from the need for approval. How many people spend their lives bending to others' expectations, terrified of being judged? How many shrink themselves just to fit in or be liked? But here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing approval, you gain something far more valuable: authentic power. You begin to walk with certainty, not because everyone agrees with you, but because you believe in yourself. That kind of confidence doesn't shout, it radiates. And that quiet strength earns more respect than any performance ever could. Finally, practice contentment. The Stoics taught that happiness isn't found in monumental achievements or applause. It's found in appreciating the present, in a warm cup of tea, a quiet moment of breath, a simple day done with integrity. When you're grateful for what you have, you stop needing more to feel complete. And in that space of stillness, you project a calm strength that commands respect without asking for it. People naturally admire those who are unmoved by chaos, unshaken by trends, and at peace with themselves. Non-attachment is not detachment. It's not apathy or disinterest. It's the highest form of control. It allows you to be fully engaged with life without being owned by it. Apply these Stoic principles, and not only will you avoid disrespect, you will live with a steady, unshakable sense of self that no circumstance can rattle. We just reflected on how letting go of possessions, of outcomes, of validation leads to true strength. But there is another quiet force that earns deep respect without demanding attention. That force is humility. 7. Humility doesn't mean shrinking yourself. It means rising above your ego. The truly wise understand that every person you meet knows something you don't. When you approach life with this mindset, you remain open to growth, to change, to wisdom in places you might never expect. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we have all the answers, but rigid pride creates blind spots. Epictetus taught that true wisdom begins with the willingness to learn, even from those society often overlooks. Have you ever learned something valuable from someone younger than you, or from someone whose voice is usually ignored? Humility means listening deeply and realizing that everyone is your teacher if you're willing to learn. And the more you listen, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more respect you naturally attract without ever having to demand it. A key part of humility is learning to value others. When you recognize the contributions of those around you, whether it's a colleague's quiet dedication or a friend's thoughtful insight, you create a ripple effect. People who feel seen and appreciated tend to reflect that same energy back. Respect in this way is not a currency to be hoarded. It's a mirror. It reflects back to those who offer it freely. Another powerful expression of humility: service. Helping others without expecting recognition is not a sign of weakness. It's a display of strength, discipline, and compassion. The Stoics believed we are all interconnected, that we each have a duty not just to ourselves, but to one another. Seneca reminded us, while we teach, we learn. When you share knowledge, lend a helping hand, or guide someone who's struggling, you build bonds of trust. These moments create real respect, not the kind you command, but the kind you earn. And finally, humility is essential in collaboration. No one climbs alone. Behind every great achievement is a web of unseen support: mentors, teammates, partners. Recognizing and celebrating the strengths of others doesn't diminish your light. It amplifies it. A person who works with others instead of over them becomes someone people admire and want to follow. Humility allows you to move through life with grace, always learning, always evolving. It's not about lowering yourself. It's about letting go of the need to be right, to be the loudest, or to be the center of attention. Because when you embrace the mindset of a student, you become unstoppable. Practice humility, and you'll discover something remarkable. Respect will find you quietly, consistently, and effortlessly. We just explored how humility, far from being weakness, is a powerful inner strength that earns quiet respect. But there's another virtue, equally underestimated, that gives you control in the moments most people lose theirs. That virtue is patience. 8. Patience in Stoic philosophy. Patience is not passive. It's not about waiting idly or suppressing frustration behind clenched teeth. It is an active discipline, the strength to stay calm when chaos stirs, to endure without losing composure, and to see adversity not as a curse, but as a chance to grow stronger. Seneca said it clearly, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every challenge we face is a form of resistance training for the soul, a test of endurance, a chance to build resilience. Impatience, on the other hand, makes us reactive. It puts our emotions in the driver's seat. When something doesn't go our way, we lash out, shut down, or abandon the effort altogether. But the patient person, they observe, they adapt. They respond, not with ego, but with wisdom. Let's take an example. Imagine Philip, a dedicated professional, gets publicly insulted by a colleague during a meeting. The room goes quiet. The natural instinct? To strike back, to defend his pride, to match disrespect with sharp retaliation. But Philip, grounded in Stoic patience, takes a breath. He doesn't react immediately. He pauses and asks himself, why did this person act out? Could it be stress, personal struggles, hidden insecurity? Later, Philip approaches the colleague privately. He speaks calmly, without accusation. He addresses the issue directly, but with grace. In doing so, he dissolves the tension. And more than that, he earns quiet respect. Not just for what he said, but for what he didn't say in anger. This is the real power of patience. It gives you control when emotions beg for chaos. It helps you respond, not react. When you cultivate patience, you stop taking things personally. You begin to see that most acts of disrespect come not from cruelty, but from confusion, fear, or inner conflict. And that realization, it frees you. But patience isn't only about handling conflict. It's crucial in achieving long-term goals. How? Many people quit their dreams simply because results didn't come fast enough. They confuse a temporary failure for permanent defeat. The Stoics saw it differently. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles aren't signals to give up, they're invitations to grow. The path forward often passes through the challenge, not around it. Practicing patience also shapes your character. It deepens your capacity for forgiveness, softens your judgments, and allows you to meet the flaws of others with wisdom, not resentment. Patient people don't cling to grudges. They understand human nature, and because of that, they extend compassion, not condemnation. This mindset not only strengthens relationships, it grants deep inner peace. You become emotionally immune to the storms around you. Of course, patience isn't easy. It's a muscle you train daily, a choice you make in small, unseen moments, to pause, to breathe, to think before you speak or act. But those who master it find something rare. They are respected, admired, and deeply in control of their own emotions. We just reflected on the quiet strength of patience, the discipline to endure without losing composure. Now, let's turn to a virtue often misunderstood, one that radiates quiet power and forges the deepest human connections. kindness. Canine. Kindness. Kindness is often mistaken for softness. Some believe it's a weakness, something that leaves you vulnerable or invites others to take advantage. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that true power doesn't come from domination, aggression, or loud commands. It comes from the ability to remain calm, compassionate, and grounded, even when the world is chaotic. Kindness, when practiced consistently, becomes a form of strength that cannot be shaken. A kind person does not feel the need to prove themselves through force. They do not flinch in the face of disrespect, nor do they seek revenge. Instead, they command respect silently, through character, through integrity, through the way they uplift others without needing recognition. Kindness is more than a moment. It's a way of life. It's a reflection of your internal state, a mirror of self-control and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, don't just talk about values, live them. Don't demand respect, embody the traits that naturally earn it. One of the simplest, yet most profound ways to live this truth is through everyday acts of kindness, a sincere compliment, a few extra minutes of patient listening, an encouraging word when someone is silently struggling. These small gestures can create monumental shifts, not just in how others see you, but in how you experience the world. They strengthen relationships and bring a deep, lasting sense of inner calm. But Stoic kindness isn't just about how we treat others. It's also about how we treat ourselves. So many people are quick to forgive others, but harshly judge themselves. They replay mistakes like a broken film reel, tormenting themselves with guilt and self-criticism. The Stoics remind us this serves no purpose. You cannot change the past, but you can learn from it, grow from it, and let it go. True kindness includes self-forgiveness. It means giving yourself the same understanding, the same compassion that you so freely offer to others. Consider a leader in a workplace. Two employees make mistakes. One is met with cold criticism. The other is corrected firmly, but with encouragement and respect. Which employee grows more? Which one works harder, respects their leader more deeply, and improves faster? The one who was met with kindness, paired with wisdom, because kindness doesn't mean being naive. It doesn't mean tolerating injustice, enabling disrespect, or being a doormat. It means choosing self-control over reaction, wisdom over pride, compassion over cruelty. Kindness creates an environment where people feel safe, seen, and respected, and in return, they give that respect back. In the last section, we saw how kindness, when combined with strength, can transform not only how others view us, but how we view ourselves. And when you treat others with dignity, something powerful happens. You quietly teach the world how to treat you in return. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, when you extend respect even in tense moments, you raise the standard, not just for others, but for yourself. This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It means responding to it with grace instead of rage, with composure instead of chaos. A person who is kind yet firm, empathetic yet grounded, becomes someone others cannot help but respect, not because they demand it, but because they embody it. Ultimately, kindness isn't just about how others see us. It reshapes who we are from the inside out. It makes us more patient, more resilient, more balanced. When kindness becomes a natural part of your character, you'll notice something remarkable. You stop chasing respect. It comes to you, quietly, steadily, and without effort. And if you've ever experienced the ripple effect of a kind word, a moment of empathy, or a quiet act of forgiveness, then you already know the power of this virtue in action. Feel free to share your experience below. Your story might encourage someone still learning how to lead with kindness. And now we arrive at the final Stoic lesson. It's the one that ties all the others together, a mindset that protects your peace, strengthens your spirit, and ensures that no one, no matter how harsh, can ever shake your sense of self. Let's explore the transformative power of gratitude. 10. Gratitude is not just a passing feeling. It is a discipline. It's a deliberate way of seeing the world that shapes how we think, how we feel, and how we interact with others. The Stoics believed that a grateful heart is an unshakable heart, because when you appreciate what you already have, you become less vulnerable to external negativity, including disrespect. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means shifting your focus from what's missing to what's present, from what's broken to what still works, from what's lost to what remains. Marcus Aurelius captured it beautifully. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Instead of being trapped by regrets or dwelling on the uncontrollable, we can choose to cherish what lies ahead. The future is shaped not by what we lack, but by how we live right now. One powerful way to anchor yourself in gratitude is by keeping a daily journal. Every day, write down 3 things, big or small, that you're thankful for. It could be a kind message from a friend, the warmth of sunlight through your window, or a valuable lesson learned from a difficult moment. This simple ritual rewires your mind to seek value in the present instead of constantly yearning for something more. But reflection alone is not enough. Gratitude must be expressed. A sincere thank you can build bridges where conflict once stood. Acknowledging someone's effort, even during disagreement, can transform tension into mutual respect. Gratitude also means living more intentionally. It means consuming mindfully, valuing experiences over things, and recognizing that true wealth isn't found in accumulation, but in appreciation. When you embrace this mindset, you move through life lighter, calmer, and more confident. You radiate a kind of quiet strength that disarms negativity and commands respect without a word. In the last section, we uncovered how gratitude grounds us in the present, opens our hearts to peace, and allows us to carry ourselves with quiet strength. And it's through this deep appreciation that dignity, resilience, and contentment naturally begin to flourish. In gratitude, we find peace. In peace, we discover strength. And in strength, we earn respect without ever needing to demand it. We've just walked through 9 timeless Stoic lessons, each one a stepping stone toward a life of calm confidence and self-respect. Not a loud, attention-seeking respect, but the kind that lingers, that builds quietly, that comes from within, from mindfulness to kindness, from patience to non-attachment. Each principle invites us to stop reacting and start responding, to let go of ego and instead anchor ourselves in character. These are not just ideas to reflect on. They are practices, daily disciplines, tools for living with courage in a chaotic world. Because when you carry yourself with clarity, with conviction, and with compassion, respect finds you. It follows you into rooms. It lingers long after you've spoken. So now I turn it to you. Which of these Stoic lessons resonated with you the most? Was it the strength in silence, the clarity of right speech, or perhaps the quiet power of forgiveness? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might just be the spark someone else needs today. And if you found value in this journey, consider liking this video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss the next insight into Stoic wisdom. Keep applying these principles, not once, but again and again, because the life you want to live isn't built in moments of pressure. It's built in moments of practice. Respect isn't something you chase. It's something you become. See you in the next video.